but maybe we can make some of this more concrete. I bet you have a take on Urbit. If I'm going to talk
Oh, I
about
don't
one,
really. I know some of the
no,
people who founded it. It seems cool.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, I'm
Don't have a
just
take.
curious. Yeah, oh, okay. It's just I brought it up because it's one a lot of people do have a take in one way or another. You know, the Hacker News crowd likes to have an opinion on what Urbit's up to, but they do seem like they are planning their kind of organizational structure in such a way that when they complete the work that they're doing, everyone will have their kind of little decentralized communities that they can have their little fiefdoms and move between. And it'll be, I think, a very DAO-like experiment ultimately. But it seems like the way in which power will flow between groups will be based more on market mechanisms rather than voting. So anyway,
Yeah.
so something
No,
to look
that's
into. And
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that. So people might ask, why do I not care about big players in the movement like this, right? Like,
Mhm.
why do I
Yeah.
care so little that I'm not even paying attention to them? Yet I'm very familiar with what's going on in the charter city movement right now, right? And this comes to one of the keys of our work, which is demographic collapse. The people who are engaging with communities like Urbit have basically no kids. They probably have an FTR, which is a fertility rate of like 0.2, 0.5, I would bet.
But the
They
trad
are
vibes.
what?
I said, but the trad vibes.
Yeah.
I
They
know.
can go find their trad wife who will own Bitcoin and chickens and live on a farm. And it's like, I'm already doing that, right? Like that's
Yeah.
I'm living out the trad. But anyway, so the they have very low fertility rates. And so they're not really relevant intergenerationally speaking. We have seen movements like this in the past. And if you look historically, movements that form among groups with low fertility rates never last longer than like 2 generations. They just don't. Like it's the way you intergenerationally make a movement work is through ensuring that it is, if you can create a group, and this is what's really cool about the world today, because the two core ways that groups get a high fertility rate, like cultural groups among their members, is they either disallow them to engage with technology or engage with technology fully. And the groups that do that typically have really high fertility rates, or they have them act in a way. So an example of that would be like the Amish or the Hasidic population, some Hasidic populations, not all of them. Or they get them to act in a way that economically hinders them. Jehovah's Witnesses would be an example of that, because within and between countries, the less wealth you have, the higher fertility rate you have. But if you can create a new cultural group, which is high fertility, intergenerationally durable, and engages with the economy and technology, you will have so few competitors. If you're talking about like 2 generations from now, in terms of the direction of our species, that is easily where any individual today can have the biggest impact into the future of our species. And that's why when I'm talking about like a religious like DAO or organization, you could think of it as, I guess you could say that this country that we are going to propose is in a way that, because it's using its tokens to create normative ethics within the community, but it's also designed to last intergenerationally. And because of that, it actually has a chance of mattering in the future. And this is why we're so focused on the things we're focused on, like educational systems that don't deconvert kids and that give them a disproportionate ability to compete within the social ecosystem. It's why when I think about DAOs, I try to not get caught up in the ideology that drives them, because all that matters is the system to which my kids are born into can outcompete the surrounding systems, and that once it can do that, then it can be used as a tool for I forget the word I would use here, is administering my ethics to a wider population.
So there's a lot I want to get into there, but